Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global TV. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now the news in full. Nigerian's President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Abuja after attending the 37th ordinary session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. NAF 001 pulled up at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 4:00 p.m. local time, concluding his 15th foreign trip since assuming the presidency 9 months ago and lodging 73 days abroad. Tinubu was received by top government officials, including his Chief of Staff, Femi Gbagjabiamila, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, National Secretary Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribado, and the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle. Also on the receiving line were the Imo Governor, Hope Uzodinma, the Director General of the Department of State Services, Yusuf Bichi, among others. The Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, has engaged the leadership and members of the Senate Committee on the passage of the proposed CIBN Act bill. The President and the Chairman of the Council of CIBN, Dr. Ken Opara, disclosed this when he led a team from the Institute to the Senate. The team's visit was meant to seek the Senate's favorable disposition towards the proposed CIBN Act bill and share thoughts on key issues affecting the banking and finance industry. Opara commended the committee for the support it is given to the Institute towards the review of the extant law in the financial sector. He lauded the chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, for his role in ensuring economic growth. Still on the news, the federal government says it will give more attention to fixed roads and seek some remedies on the cost of gas and import duties to bring down the astronomical price of cement nationwide. This is part of the communique that was reached during a meeting between the government and the major cement manufacturers in Abuja. Senator David Umahi, Minister of Works, and his counterpart, Minister of Trade and Investment, Doris Uzoka Anete, and the three major cement manufacturers signed a communique according to the document. The government has taken note of the challenges enumerated by the manufacturers, which includes cost of gas, high import duty on spare parts, bad road network, high foreign exchange, and smuggling of cement to neighboring nations. Moving on, the group of protesters in their hundreds have staged a peaceful demonstration in the city of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, calling on the President Bola Tinubu to address the issue of insecurity and hunger in the country. The protesters, who are mostly youth, said they are fed up with the current state of affairs in Nigeria and are demanding concrete action from the government. The protesters also expressed concern about the high cost of living, which they say is making it difficult for people to afford necessities. They said food prices have also skyrocketed, making it difficult for many Nigerians to feed their families. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMNET, has predicted haziness and cloudiness across the country from Monday to Wednesday. It warned people with respiratory issues, among others, to be cautious of the weather and wear masks. NIMNET's weather outlook released in Abuja forecast moderate dust haze with a horizontal visibility range of 2 km to 5 km over the northern and north-central states, except Benue, Kogi, and Kwara, where patches of cloud in the hazy atmosphere are anticipated. Patches of clouds are expected over the inland of the south throughout the forecast period. Over now to the Eastern Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy says the Navy saved the nation of 95 billion naira through the operations of command between April 2023 and February 2024. This was disclosed in Calabar by Rear Admiral Olushola Oluwabere during a parade to mark the end of his tour of duty as a flag officer commanding Eastern Naval Command, following last year's ultimatum by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to the service chiefs and heads of security and intelligence agencies to crush perpetrators of oil theft. There have been an increased onslaught on oil theft in the country. In January, the Nigerian Army said it destroyed 233 illegal refineries in the Niger Delta region and arrested 112 suspected oil thieves in 2023. The Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawalle, has reaffirmed the ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage, saying it is only the armed forces and the Nigerian police force, while on joint operation with the military, that are allowed by law to use the military camouflage. The minister's call is coming against the backdrop of an increase in the use of military camouflage by kidnappers, bandits, and other criminals who disguise as military and paramilitary personnel to cause havoc in the society. Spokesman of the Ministry of Defense, Henshaw Ogubike, while making this known in Abuja, said the present situation does not support the use of military camouflage by people who are not authorized or not personnel of DHQ. Dr. Matawalle emphasized the readiness of the Nigerian Armed Forces and the Nigerian Police to enforce the directive given by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribado regarding the immediate cessation of the use of camouflage uniforms by paramilitary agencies. And now over to the Nigerian Customs Service. NCS Kano Area Command says it has intercepted 4 trucks of food items as part of effort to tackle smuggling. This is contained in a statement by the spokesman of the service, Seidu Nuruddin, in Kano. He said the personnel of the service intercepted the vehicles transporting a significant quantity of food items intended by illegal export along the Hadeja-Tora Ringim axis in Jigawa. The items include 1,505 cartons of big and small size dried fish, 17 bags of local variety rice, and 2 bags of beans. Nuruddin urged members of the public to provide credible information to enable it to stem smuggling. The police in Kaduna have arrested 4 suspects for alleged armed robbery in the state. The spokesman of the command, ASP Masir Hassan, stated that the suspects allegedly terrorized some communities in the state. He said the suspects allegedly robbed innocent citizens of motorcycles and other valuable along Ado Gwaron in Mohata community in Igabi local government area of the state. Hassan said the police recovered 5 vehicle number plates, spare parts, and new SIM cards from the suspects. The command recorded a significant feat as sequel to proactive measures adopted by the Commissioner of Police, Audu Ali. He urged residents of the state to provide credible information to the police on suspicious persons and movements to enable it to protect lives and property. The Mandate Secretary of the FCT Women Affairs Secretariat at Adedayo, Benjamin Lanio, said the Federal Capital Territory Administration has sealed off an orphanage in Karomajiji, the priesthood orphanage, after 23 children aged 1 to 14 trafficked from Plateau were rescued from the orphanage. Benjamin Lanio stated this when she addressed pressmen, adding that the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike had authorized the Secretariat to profile the recently orphanages operating within the nation's capital. She noted that the Women's Secretariat was already working with the Office of the Commissioner of Women Affairs of Plateau State to reunite the children with their families, some of whom she said have been at the uncertified orphanage for 5 years since 2019. You're watching Midday News coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using at Global TV and other handles now showing on your screen. When Midday News returns, UK court to hear final asset appeal against extradition to US. The news continues shortly with details and more stories right after this break. Do stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is thank you for staying with us. This is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of Midday News. Move on to the news. Members of the major energies marketers of Nigeria says it will be legal to negotiate and fix the cost of lifting fuel with members of the National Association of Transport Owners. The NATO President Yusuf Othman had in a letter to truck drivers who are members of other unions and associations said NATO had made several efforts to secure negotiations for appropriate and commensurate freight rates for its operations from all authorities concerned in the industry, especially the major marketers, without any positive result. However, The major marketer said the decision of NATO to stop transporting fuel may not have much effect on its members, some of whom now have separate transporters. Over now to our foreign deck, 64 bodies have been found along a stretch of road in Papua New Guinea remote highland, a gruesome escalation of long-running violence between local warring tribes. The victims were believed to be tribal fighters who were ambushed by a rival group in the early hours of Sunday. The incident occurred near the town of Wagbag, about 600 kilometers, 370 miles northwest of the capital Port Moresby. Police said gunfights were ongoing in nearby valleys and bodies were still being recovered from bushland near the road. The High Court in London Tuesday will begin hearing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange's final UK appeal against extradition to the United States to face trial over publishing secret military and diplomatic files. Washington wants the 52-year-old Australian citizen extradited after he was charged there multiple times between 2018 and 2020. In connection with WikiLeaks' 2010 publications of files relating to the U.S.-led war in Iraq and Afghanistan. If this week's two-day bid to appeal is successful, he will have another chance to argue his case in London court, with a date set for a full hearing. If he loses, Assange will have exhausted all UK appeals and will enter the extradition process, although his team have indicated they will appeal to European courts. Over now to animal welfare. Charities have welcomed an African-wide ban on controversial donkey skin trade. It will be made illegal to slaughter donkeys for their skin in 55 countries across the continent. Demand for the animal skin is fueled by the popularity of an ancient Chinese medicine called Ejao, traditionally made from donkey hinds. African state leaders approved the ban at the conclusion of the African Union Summit in Ethiopia. Dr. Onyango stated that the ban would go a long way to safeguarding donkeys and the livelihoods of millions of people who rely on them. A quick look at business. The recent sharp depreciation of the naira in the foreign exchange market, as well as the rise in inflation rate, has started to erode the value of assets on the insurance cover. The recent developments in the industry have indicated that most risks are now underinsured as valued of claims are getting lower than the assets they were supposed to cover. Also, insurance firms are now offloading their underwriting businesses to ceding arrangements with both local and foreign reinsurers, while also incurring higher reinsurance expenses, especially on overseas ceding due to weaker naira. Consequently, findings from the full-year report of 17 leading insurance companies released on the Nigerian Exchange Limit show that while gross premium written GPW for the full year 2023 increased by 25.9% to 557.5 billion naira from 442.6 billion naira recorded in 2022, their reinsurance expenses went up by 28.4% to 1,301 billion naira from 1,003.6 billion naira. Nigeria's local currency is currently exchanging above 2,000 naira against the Great Britain pound at the pirate market. A Bureau exchange operator at Wuse Zone 4, Malam Ibrahim, confirmed the rates on Monday. He said, yes, in his words, it is true. We are currently selling above 2,000 naira for the pounds, and it is still heavy and consistent demand for these currencies, end of quote. The new rate increased from 1,930 naira recorded on Saturday and is currently the lowest point in the historical performance of the naira. The National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has advocated for the incorporation of artificial intelligence AI into Nigerian security framework to improve outcomes. The Director General of the agency, Shikfu Inua, issued this call during a meeting with the National Institute Service NISS. A.S. Adeleke, who was represented by the Deputy Commandant D.E. Egbeje. The statement from the agency conveyed that Inua emphasized the distinct methods employed by the security and information technology IT sectors. He pointed out that through collaboration, it is possible to exploit the vast potentials IT provides. This includes leveraging artificial intelligence, AI, the Internet of Things, IoT, and other emerging technologies to enhance the security sector. And in sports, Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Uwabali have been confirmed with a chieftaincy title by the traditional ruler of Ubide community in Igbame Kingdom, River State, Izobi Amida. The title will go Egbama, the pride of Egbama Kingdom, was confirmed on the goalkeeper following his performance at the recently concluded 2023 African Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire. The title confirmed on the Wabili is in recognition of the honor of goalkeepers brought to Egbama Kingdom and one local government area following his performance for the Super Eagles. An entertainment following his illustrious three-decade career that has been characterized by monumental impact and still in service to humanity. A Thanksgiving dinner has been held for Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia, Abuja, the nation's capital. Global TV Uyi Agbomofuegbe was at the event, reports that it was an evening that the celebrants would not forget anytime soon. The report.
As guests exchange pleasantries and take their reserved seats, melodious music in the background is one of several indications that fun and excitement are in the air. The guests here tonight who are excited about the impact that the celebrant has had on the lives and endeavors of those who have crossed paths with her tell us the reason for tonight's gathering.
We are here on behalf of a special lady who just apparently got retired for her Thanksgiving service. And I was made to understand she's a very lovely and nice lady. That's why we're here, to celebrate with her.
We're here to celebrate her and to give thanks to God for all that He has done in her life. And we're here to join her in that fellowship.
Arrival of the celebrant, Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia, signals a switching gear as guests usher her in with a standing and rousing ovation.
Our celebrant is here. Please, with a standing ovation, can we put our hands together as we celebrate Chief Mrs. Lois Ozobia? Can you put your hands together? That applause. Can we just put our hands together even as she takes her seat?
For a person of faith, her priest has a brief but incisive message for her and everyone present.
And what I heard was that everybody who took time to put this together, and those who took time to be here, came to celebrate you, not because God hasn't blessed you enough, but you've become a stream and you've become a blessing that others are tapping from. And it's a good reason to say thank you to God, because it takes a man or woman of purpose who understands that life is not about I, myself, and I.
Godswill Egbe has known Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia for upwards of 2 decades.
The celebrant Chief Mrs. Lois B. Sankey Ozobia, she has been my supervisor. You know, when I got a job as a deputy manager, she was assistant general manager, and even though she was a group head in another group, I was working on that group. But the important thing is that I found out that she's somebody who wants things done properly.
The celebrant herself shares a valuable piece of advice.
Wherever you are and you have the opportunity to help, you need to make the most of it. There's a lot going on in Nigeria. There's so much suffering that each and every one of us can help in any small way. You can help. Don't take an opportunity and just hold it by yourself. There's a lot of selfishness, self-service, but we really need to do a lot more, no matter how small, to help.
For Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia, there is a whole lot to be grateful for and dance to. Uyi Agbomofuegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
And that's it on Midday News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using at Global TV NG and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. See you again. Good afternoon.